Words. There's so much more than just letters on a page, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. They shape how we see everything.
And sometimes it's not just what they mean, but how people try to use them, maybe even manipulate them. We've been looking at some commentary recently.
Yeah, commentary that seemed maybe on the surface like it was about reclaiming language.
Exactly. But when you dig a little deeper, it opens up this whole discussion about history, about ideology.
And maybe even, a discomfort with just being described accurately.
Right. So today we're going to dive into a specific instance. This was back in July 2025, involved Greg Gutfeld over at Fox News.
Ah, yes. I remember this. He
Uh,
put forward this, well, really interesting idea. Flawed, deeply flawed, I'd say, about reclaiming certain words.
Fascinating and flawed is a good description. It gives us a real window into thinking about historical wounds, political talk.
And the dangers, really, of making light of terms that carry immense weight.
Okay, so let's lay it out. The basic idea proposed was that the word Nazi could potentially be reclaimed by conservatives.
Right. The thinking, as presented, was sort of, well, if liberals are going to use that term as an insult,
Then maybe the suggestion went conservatives should just adopt it, appropriate the insult, kind of like taking its power away.
exactly, to neutralize its negative charge, I think was the phrasing, like a
Yeah.
kind of linguistic self-defense.
And, hearing it like that, maybe you could almost see the tactical angle, a bit of rhetorical jujitsu.
Almost. But then you actually stop and think about the specific words involved.
Yeah. And that's where it gets confusing on a couple of levels, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
Because putting these two particular words, the N-word and Nazi, in the same category, it shows a fundamental misunderstanding
A huge misunderstanding about why certain words have the impact they do.
and why the idea of reclaiming works very differently, or sometimes not at all.
Okay, let's unpack the first one he implicitly compared it to, the N-word. You said it carries centuries of weight. What makes that term so unique?
It's more than weight. It's, as you said, a historical wound, a profound one. This wasn't just an insult someone coined. It was systematically used for centuries to dehumanize black people.
Tied directly to slavery, segregation.
Exactly. Systemic racism, the whole structure. So when the black community itself has made efforts to re-signify that word carefully within specific contexts,
It's an act of resistance, right? Taking back power.
it's profound resistance. It's about dignity against horrific abuse. And even within the community, its use is incredibly sensitive, very limited.
It's definitely not something outsiders can just pick up and reclaim.
Absolutely not, because the origin is rooted in oppression against a group based on who they are. It's inherited trauma.
Okay, so that establishes the N-word's context, a slur forced upon a group. But the proposal compared it directly to Nazi. How is that word different?
And this is the absolute core of the misunderstanding. It's a category error, really.
How so?
Nazi isn't an insult created by others to demean a group based on inherent traits. It was the actual name chosen by a political movement.
The name they use for themselves.
Precisely. The National Socialist German Workers' Party. They embraced it. It identified their ideology, their regime.
A genocidal regime that committed unimaginable atrocities.
Exactly. So it's not about an ascribed characteristic used to hurt someone. It's about a chosen belief system and the horrific actions that followed. One is a tool of oppression against victims.
And the other is the self-chosen label of the perpetrators.
Right. You can't really reclaim the badge of perpetrators in the same way a victimized group might reclaim a slur used against them. It just doesn't track.
That distinction is critical. So
Yeah.
thinking about this comparison Gutfeld made, putting these two wildly different terms together, what does that reveal? What's going on underneath?
Well, this is where it gets, frankly, quite troubling. You start to see maybe a kind of latent racism and even making the comparison.
How so?
By equating the historical weight of a racial slur used against victims with the self-chosen name perpetrators, it sort of flattens the moral landscape. It minimizes the unique nature of racial oppression.
And politically, does it achieve anything?
It strikes me as incredibly ineffective politically, because the discomfort driving the suggestion doesn't seem to be about the word Nazi being descriptive of, a dangerous ideology or certain behaviors.
It's more about the insult, the fact that it stings.
Exactly. The problem framed is that it functions as an insult that hurts political pride. Not, is there any truth to this comparison that we should address, but how do we stop this word from hurting us?
So it's not about denying any potential ideological similarity, however faint or contested. It's about wanting to remove the social penalty.
That seems to be the implication. It's like trying to coexist with that reality without social cost, as some analyses put it.
Which is quite cynical, isn't it?
It is, and it begs the question, why focus only on the tone, the insult, and ignore the content? Is there perhaps some uncomfortable resonance in the description itself?
And you said it's politically ineffective, too.
Well, yeah, because real political dialogue involves addressing the substance of criticism, not just trying to defang insults. Trying to reclaim a term like Nazi doesn't persuade anyone or build bridges.
It probably just alienates people further, right?
Absolutely. It looks like you're not engaging with the criticism, just trying to sidestep it rhetorically. It reinforces negative perceptions rather than countering them. It's like shouting louder instead of listening.
So, what are the bigger implications here, beyond just this one comment? What does this tell us about political discussion, about historical memory?
It's significant. This attempt to trivialize or even normalize the word Nazi, it's not just a word game. It shows a real lack of sensitivity to the victims of Nazism.
Minimizing the horror.
Yes, and it points to a worrying trend where maybe some political factions aren't even trying that hard anymore to distance themselves from extreme ideas or rhetoric.
It's like a resignation. Okay, fine, call us that, but we'll make it meaningless.
Something like that. And the crucial point, again, is that the objection isn't necessarily to the descriptive possibility, the idea that the label might fit in some ways.
The objection is to the despective tone, the fact that it's used negatively.
Precisely. It shifts the whole focus away from self-examination. Are we exhibiting traits that draw this comparison towards simply deflecting the social stigma?
It really does sound like that concept Hannah Arendt talked about, the banalization of evil.
It's a perfect example. Making something horrific seem ordinary or just another political label?
As if being seen as fascist adjacent doesn't really matter, as long as the word itself doesn't sound bad or hurt your feelings.
Exactly. It's this resigned acceptance of the stigma, but dressing it up as some kind of cultural defiance. That's where the real danger lies.
Abdicating responsibility, maybe?
It feels like it. A failure to grapple with the historical meaning and the warning the term carries, just because it's uncomfortable to be associated with it.
So we've gone from one comment about language, deep into history, ideology, how we talk politics, and how easily, perhaps, dangerous ideas can be downplayed.
It's a stark reminder of the power words hold and the responsibility that comes with using them.
Absolutely. It really makes you think.
And as we wrap up, maybe something for you, the listener, to consider is this. What happens to our ability to critique, to hold power accountable, if we start focusing only on whether a label is offensive, rather than whether it might be descriptive?
That's a powerful question. How much do we lose when we dilute the meaning of words that serve as historical warnings?
Think about the power of language, not just to hurt, but to define reality, to remember history, and crucially, to warn us. How do we protect that function?